Welcome to episode 2 of Undercover Billionaire, where myself, Meet Kevin, a millionaire, reacts to a billionaire going undercover with a challenge to build a $1 million business within 90 days from scratch. In episode number 1, we saw our billionaire try to collect all of the money that he could just to be able to pay for a roof over his head and food. He started doing that by trying to sell St. Paddy's Day merchandise in downtown Erie. Well, let's see what episode 2 has in store for us, and we'll see how this undercover billionaire goes from the $400 he has now to ideally a path that we could actually learn on for building a $1 million business. Let's get right into it.
I believe the American dream is still alive. In fact, I'll bet $1 million on it.
Billionaire Glenn Stearns is betting $1 million he can take $100 and grow it into a $1 million business in just 90 days.
If it's a penny short of $1 million, I'll put $1 million into it. I've been sleeping in my truck for over a week, and a snowstorm came in last night. I need a roof over my head. Oh, I can't stop throwing up. I'm just scared. Don't know what's wrong with me.
Do you want to keep going? What do you want to do?
I have to go to the hospital.
What?
I made my first $1 million at 28 years old. Okay. But the reality is, I'm not in a 28-year-old body anymore. I gave myself a goal of raising $3,300 before I get an apartment. But if something's seriously wrong with me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep going.
They're making this feel real.
It doesn't look like he can see anything on the x-ray, which is nice.
Glenn ends up being a bit dehydrated here and loses an entire day, but he's back on his feet the next morning. I hate that he keeps going for these lots and like the garbage digging, the lottery mentality, like go sell cars or something to make some money to just survive. Honestly, I'd probably just work 24/7 and then I'd sleep under my desk and then I'd have a roof over my head for free. And I don't think any of my bosses would get mad knowing that I was working 16-hour days trying to sell their cars.
That might be a little tiny tractor or something. Or...
This is like a pickup tire.
Is it?
Well, that one there is pretty wore down.
How's that one looking?
Now, despite my first impression, Glenn ends up selling these tires for $1,400 that he found thrown away. I was really shocked by that. I still think I could have made a whole lot more money selling cars at like Toyota or Ford or whatever just to retail buyers. But hey, you know what? Good for him. This is a good little head start. Now he could get a roof over his head.
Working your ass off and then finally hitting a big one. I didn't make my goal, but I've got enough for a place to live.
Like, how do you replicate that? See, I would have had experience selling by now.
Hi, is this Bob, you said?
Yes, it is.
Bob, hi, my name is Glenn Bryant. Listen, I'm looking for a budget-friendly apartment and wanted to know...
See, the nice thing about America is that really, once you get a little bit of money, you could get yourself into a studio or a roommate situation, and golly, once you have a roof over your head, you get yourself a laptop and an internet connection, you can go out there and kill it.
So I ended up with a more expensive apartment, $435 versus $405. But the reality is, I'm off the road, I don't have anybody on the side of me, so there are a lot of things that make this one just a much more efficient apartment and just something I can live in for the next, 90 days. There's that for you. It's hard to believe that I would feel so happy to have a place. Perfect.
No credit check?
When I'm sitting in my car and...
What? I mean, I know the guy's an undercover billionaire, but you still run the credit, right?
If I'm gonna build $1 million business, I need to use local resources here in Erie.
Hi, Glenn.
Maggie, how are you?
So nice to
Nice
meet
to meet you. I've heard a lot of great things.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. So you've decided to be an entrepreneur, and that's exactly what we're here to do, is help in these new ventures. So
Thousands of communities across the country have a small business development center. These centers often have resources for business owners, including consulting, office space, computer access, and research. The best part of the SBDC is that these services are offered for free.
This is a shared space we use as classroom, we use as meeting, we use as conference room.
It's actually pretty awesome. Honestly, I feel like more people should take advantage of this. That's great if you were gonna start a business, because honestly, if for free you could have somebody tell you your business idea sucks, don't do it, I'd probably like that advice.
Of business ideas, market research, things like that. We can't run your company for you,
Right.
but we can make sure you're prepared to do it.
I've done my research and got a couple ideas that I'm kicking around in my head. However, I haven't been to Erie. I don't know, what's going on in Erie. I don't know what I don't know. So I've set up meetings with a few entrepreneurs to see if they can help me figure out which is the right industry for me. I've warned them that the cameras are going to be following me. The first is Hannah Kirby, who runs a coffee shop, and it's doing quite well. There's a 7% growth in coffee sales, which makes it really the fastest growing segment in the food service industry.
I don't know, I wouldn't try to make $1 million business selling $4 cups of coffee in 90 days. I don't know.
So I just felt like the environment and the ecosystem was the right timing.
How is your business doing?
The business is paying for itself. We've been here like a year now, so it's going
It's
well.
Okay, business is paying for itself means she's working for free.
We're very focused on growth. People are really rooting for one another because I think we're all rooting for the city.
Well, my next stop is Chris Trott. He owns a metal fabrication company. What do you think's been the hardest part about the last 4 years?
I'd say funds are tough. Anyone who talks to somebody that owns a business thinks that they're rich, but we're really rich for about 10 seconds as one check passes and goes to pay another bill.
As I continue to build out a team, I'd like to talk.
That's sadly so true with so many businesses, is once you factor in employee costs and the facility, like having a big business seems cool and it seems rich, but honestly, the wealthiest businesses for most people can tend to be the smallest, the ones that are run from a home office in realism. Unless, of course, you can go big and have big margin.
I'll tell you, a business that's really taking off here in Erie is the craft beer business. It's been growing about 10 to 15% a year. So I'm meeting with Chris Sirianni, who owns the brewery at Union Station. I'd love to see if that's an industry that's worth getting into. Hey, how you doing?
How are you? Chris
Hey,
Sirianni.
Hey, nice to meet you.
We do.
Beer seems like another lottery thing. I don't know, let's see.
The best way that I know to make big money is in real estate. So I want to buy a house to flip it to cover the startup costs for my business. But for now, I need to think on a smaller scale. So my goal for this week is $10,000 for the down payment for the flip house. And the best way to do that is by purchasing assets and then using them to make more money. My idea
I just got
this
excited.
time is I want to go to car dealers and I want to see if I can't buy some of their trade-ins.
Dealerships take hundreds of cars as trade-ins every week. Some get reconditioned to be sold on the lot, but cars that are older or have high mileage get sold to auto auctions for a fraction of what they're worth. If you can buy these cars from dealers before they send them to auction and turn around and sell them yourself, there's the potential to make a hefty profit.
Buy them low, sell them high, and hit my goal of $10,000.
I like this idea a lot.
We just don't feel comfortable selling, a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 car at all.
No big deal.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
All right, thanks guys. All right. Well, that was a bust. I can't believe they're not interested in selling me a car that they're going to take to auction. Hopefully, it's not the case with the other dealers.
I could see that being a liability issue, honestly, for the big companies. I think you're gonna strike out every time at like a Ford or Toyota. You'd probably have to go to the smaller ones.
Wait another day to choose the business that I'm going to start. So I'm headed over to the Small Business Development Center to check out the research that I asked them for. Well, I'm excited to delve in and see what you guys have found.
You have a variety of options here.
Time is ticking away and it's decision time. This is it.
That's fascinating. I wish before I started a business idea, I would have gone to one of these places and had them put spreadsheets and graphs and stuff together.
The IBIS World Report is predicting that it's going to be a higher growth over the next 5 years. And you see, what are people drinking? Craft beers is where most of this growth comes from.
When I found in this industry, what at least was exciting for me was they're not as opposed to new people coming into their industry. They actually welcome it and they try to help you get started.
Yeah, it's a new industry, so it makes sense for the players to work together to grow it. A big con, and I guess we need to call it that, are the barriers to entry, because you do need licenses and it can take a while to get that done.
Equipment costs go along with that
And
too.
the equipment costs.
Right.
And the pro is you're in a community that likes their beer, and they also like their craft beers.
That local business center, oh my gosh, the resources, this is awesome.
What's vital when you go into business is making sure that you know all aspects of the business. That means know your
Fun fact, I've studied a lot about business, and one thing that I found out was newer salespeople tend to be the best salespeople. Why? Because they ask the most questions. They're coming from a place of uncertainty, trying to become professional. They ask the most questions, and then as they become sort of older, jaded salespeople, they stop that curiosity element, they stop asking the questions, they become a little bit more assumptive, that is, they assume the customer understands their lingo, and guess what happens? Their sales decline. All right, so our billionaire has decided to open a craft beer business, but first he needs money to get the licensing done and to fund some of the startup costs. So it's gonna be interesting. We see him here at this local business development organization, really amazing place, by the way, where they help with almost all the research and growth potential and giving you the pros and cons. I mean, fascinating how much information you can get for free if you want to start a business and you're just asking for help. This is absolutely eye-opening, and to me, this is probably one of the biggest lessons in this episode is don't be afraid to ask for help when you're starting a business. I think so many of us think, oh, we're starting a business, go be an entrepreneur, go do it yourself, and it's incredible how many people are out there willing to help share their knowledge, either for free or for a very low cost. So let's see what happens here. Not surprisingly, he's going to a smaller dealership where he's probably more likely to actually find somebody to do this.
Take this off your hands.
We got the 05 Honda and then the Escalade in the back.
Okay, perfect. Honda Civics have a high resale value. The fact that this is a hybrid makes it even higher. So if I can pick this car up for $500, I'm gonna make so much more on my resale. I'm interested, you know.
Yeah. Well, what were you thinking?
Well, I think $500 is probably a good deal for the car, actually.
There's no way I can let it go for $500.
Yeah, how about $600? That seems pretty fair.
1,000.
He's negotiating against himself.
Come on, man.
Meet me at 1,000.
We can do it.
Meet me at 1,000.
Oh, you're killing me. How about $700?
I like the flash the cats.
Yeah, we can do
cool,
700.
dude. One more thing. I want to also be able to buy your other car because I'm going to work my tail up. And I mean, I'll help you out. Basically, I'm working for you.
I'm just surprised he would start his negotiation at what his goal number was. If his goal was $500, why would he open the dialogue at $500? I think that was a mistake.
If I'm going to hit my $10,000 goal for this week, I need to get as close to $4,000 as I can. I am going to pretty this thing up, get it ready to sell. All right, come on now. Think you can put a new set of tires on here for me?
Hey, this is like buying a wedge deal and fixing it up in real estate, you know? You clean it up, you make it presentable, and put some new tires on. Surprise, surprise, you could sell something for a lot more money. Funny how that works. Arbitraging based on people's initial first impression.
Big day today at the Small Business Development Center. I'm holding open interviews to build out a team.
Curious how he's gonna pay for them.
Business principles is human capital. I've been successful because I've surrounded myself with people smarter than I am. But my most important criteria for hiring someone is their personality. You know, in opening a brewery, I'm gonna need people with managerial skills, you know, people obviously with brewing experience, and there may even be a food component into this. The problem is, I don't have any money to pay these guys. It's all about sweat equity. That's how they're gonna have a piece of this company. Hey, Chris, I care about if somebody is gonna fight hard, they're gonna stay long, and they're gonna believe in the company. I'm looking at their eyes. I'm seeing if they stare back at me. I'm seeing how long they blink. It's really not so much about making a whole bunch of money. Probably for the first 2 months, it's gonna be planning, it's gonna be behind the scenes, and that's gonna be without pay. I'm looking for people that I hope see kind of the dream and, you know, look back on this and go, wow, wasn't that fun what we did, you know, what we created.
I have a mortgage, I have two sons, I got a wife. Money's kind of like a necessity.
Something like this would be a great experience for me as well, and watching someone, you know, kind of build a business from the ground up, and it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
I love how transparent he is. It's so great. He's basically telling them, I need somebody who's willing to work for free for 2 months while we build this business. That's insane. Oh my gosh, that's eye-opening to me. I wouldn't think that somebody would want to do that. It just seems so risky, but wow.
Just do me a favor and hang back for me. I don't want him to think anything funny's going on. You Chet?
Yes, Glenn?
How you doing?
Good. Saw you post about this. Yeah, no.
Well, it's 2005.
Okay.
It's got 152,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And everything is running well.
You're asking 4,500. Is there anything you can do?
It retails for about 4,800. So, you know, I thought 4,500 was pretty fair. But, you know, make me an offer and I'll see what I can do.
Can you do 3,300?
I think we could probably knock 300 off. How about 4,200?
How about 3,400?
You know, how about if we do 3,900 and we'll just call it a day?
Can I do a test drive?
Oh, of course.
Oh, I loved psychologically putting it under 4. That was smart, Glenn.
I'm an animal in a corner, injured, ready to come out and fight. My heart was pounding.
Hold firm, Glenn. He wants it. He wants it. Hold firm.
I've never been.
He's already come down $600.
Fancy place.
This is actually really smart too. Is going to like the Salvation Army or a secondhand store. If you're starting out, why are you going shopping at Target? You know.
That is a very smooth drive. Yeah, 3,900. I'll definitely do it.
I won at 4,500, but you always have to leave enough that the other person feels that they got a deal as well.
That is 3,900.
I've sold merchandise on the street. I've sold tires. I've cleaned people's toilets.
It's actually a really, really important business line right there is make deals feel win-win and make the other person feel like they got a deal too. You don't always have to, you know, grind every last penny out. Make it win-win and things just tend to work out for you.
It's an all-wheel drive car, right? So if one of these tires are bad, I've got to go replace them all. That could be $1,000. I'm buying it as is. So, you know, I think we should look at something closer to 1,200.
1,200 is a little low. Can we do 1,500?
Got a deal. The Blue Book value is anywhere from $6,900 to $8,800. I'm hoping to get at least $7,500 out of it. So I'm gonna go put it on my lucky street corner, cross my fingers. If I can get this sold, I'm gonna make my $10,000 for the week.
This is awesome. He is flipping cars. When he started with like no money. This is exciting. I cannot believe, you know, he bought his first car for like $700, cleaned it, vacuumed it, you know, made it look pretty, and, you know, resold it for $3,900, and now he's gonna try to do it again. Like, this is great.
If your team doesn't believe in you, you're going nowhere. So part of running a successful business is to make sure your team believes in the vision as much as you do. Hey, there they are. How you doing?
How you doing?
That's brilliant, because keep in mind, he's not paying these people. So to keep them on the same page, to keep them excited about growth and focused on the business growing, because if the business doesn't grow, they ain't getting paid at the end. Smart.
Around in liquor distribution, so he could be a great asset to the team.
Cheers.
Hey, here's to the future.
Yeah. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
The older you get more conservative because you're going, I don't want to start over again. Well, I thought I'm gonna start over again. I mean, why not? I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't want the 9-to-5 job right now. You have a dream and a vision and you go for it. I wanted to do a brew house, but also brand it and get it bigger so it can go statewide and then see if it can go bigger than that. And I tell you, I really couldn't think of a better place than Erie. Even in the short amount of time that I've been here, I love Erie. All right, let's move to the next one. So I think the most important thing that we can do is make this brewery about the local underdogs, the hardworking people of Erie.
Ah, it's so smart! Please come work for me for free because I told society, F it, I'ma start over and I wanna do it with you. Just work for free for me for a couple months. Oh, I'm getting like tears in my eyes. This is like so America. Oh, I love this.
You could have brought in a bunch of outside consultants, like that wouldn't have worked.
Most of the time when somebody says, I should start this business, blah, 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 and it never goes any farther. And here Glenn is at 55, and he's like, no, we're gonna do this. You gotta have respect for that, and I would love to be a part of that because that's awesome.
Thank you all. Appreciate everything. It's great hearing from the team, and I love their enthusiasm, and they sound invested, and I think they see the vision, and that's important. This is going to belong to them.
This is so inspiring. Oh my gosh. What?
Brew my beer, work on permitting, find a location, and open it. I need to start moving on this now. So I reached out to the lawyer today that Brian Sprague recommended, Ted Zeller. He's gonna give me some advice on how to open a brewery. But before he talked to me, he needs a $1,000 retainer. $1,000 out of my pocket right now is very hard, but I need the advice. Ted, is that you?
There's just no way you can brew your own beer under your own brewery permit for at least 90 days. There's no way.
No way.
No way.
All right, well, again.
Keep your chin up. Keep your chin up.
All right, thank you so much. I am so screwed.
On the next episode of Undercover Billionaire.
I need to be creative.
Let's pause it there. I think that was a very convenient cliffhanger because I have a feeling where this conversation is going to go is the attorney is going to say, but you could partner with another local brewery and then you can sell your own product as sort of a subsidiary of theirs. I don't know, that's my guess, but I have to say this was really inspiring and I look forward to episode number 3 with y'all. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, check out the course below for real estate investing. Super stoked about the flip stuff that I heard is coming up, oh man. But wow, this was an inspiring episode and I hope you feel the same way.